Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, Ubisoft potentially suffered a devastating hack. Storage woes have already hit the next-gen consoles a week before launch, Apex Season 7 is about to launch, and more. In a somewhat dramatic twist of irony, the source code for Watch Dogs Legion has allegedly been leaked. A ransomware group claims they leaked 558 gigabytes of data containing Legion's source code and likely much more. It's unclear if the leaked data is genuine or not. The hackers claim to have gained access to Ubisoft's network, which offered them access to the game data as well as unprotected passwords and personal data. As for what all of this data being public means, right now, it's tough to say. Legion is getting a multiplayer mode later this year, and the source code will be invaluable to cheat makers. Beyond multiplayer, hackers might also release tools that unlock all content, including paid cosmetics, of which Legion has a lot. It seems unlikely that the vast majority of players would risk a ban to use such cheats, but it could still eat into Ubisoft's most significant post-launch revenue source. As for official updates to Legion, PC players are getting a patch that addresses some serious problems. Autosave issues that are corrupting PC players' save files will be fixed with a patch on the 9th. A similar patch will launch for console players. On Xbox One, players are reporting multiple major crashes. Despite these technical issues though, reviews for Watch Dogs Legions have held pretty positive since its launch last week. Next-gen consoles aren't even on store shelves yet, and they're already facing storage problems. The Xbox Series S only offers 364 gigabytes of usable space, according to a Redditor that claims he received a unit ahead of schedule. That's about 70% of the console's 500 gigabyte internal SSD. In reality, it means that anyone playing modern titles like Call of Duty will have a rough time installing more than just a few games. Black Ops Cold War, for example, will be like 125 gigabytes on launch. A similar story is expected with the PlayStation 5, as the console's 1TB SSD only gives users about 825 gigabytes of usable space. The good news in Cold War's case is that players can pick and choose which components to install. While the full install will be over 100 gigabytes, not installing the campaign or zombies mode could save you a lot of space. Of course, Warzone's install seems like a given even for Cold War players, and that's another 80 gigabytes at least. The bigger issue, however, is the expensive add-on storage both companies will be selling. While the consoles are all under $500, their official expanded storage solutions will be at least $200. While the PlayStation 5 does offer native support for off-the-shelf M2 SSDs, the Xbox Series X and S are limited to the official expansion card. External storage will only support Xbox One and Xbox 360 titles. Apex Legends Season 7 kicks off tonight and will officially launch the game on Steam, the largest PC gaming community around. Season 7 is one of the more significant updates to the game in a while. It adds a new map, legend, vehicle, and more. Despite some big overhauls and additions to Apex over the summer, it's been a fairly quiet few months for the game. The update goes live at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Preloading on Steam is currently available, and players that switch will be able to carry over all of their progression. Rainbow Six Siege just had its next operation revealed. Neon Dawn will add a new defender called Aruni that has a Watson-like laser fence gadget. When deployed, it'll block off doorways with a laser grid that seems to damage enemies. It's unclear if it will also destroy enemy gadgets and drones. The full reveal of Neon Dawn kicks off Sunday during the Siege EU Majors. Horizon Zero Dawn's PC port launched a few months ago with some pretty bad performance issues and crashes. Since then, the developers have released several patches that fixed a lot of those issues, but there are still some pretty major problems to sort out. The game's most recent patch just dropped, and it includes a big fix to the game's shader system. Waiting on the shader cache to build is now optional, and anisotropic filtering finally works as intended. AMD's CPU market share just jumped to its highest value since 2007. Team Red now accounts for 22.4% of the market thanks to mainly their dominance in the consumer space with Ryzen. That number is and will likely keep climbing as AMD launches next-gen Ryzen tomorrow. Leaks of Intel's next-gen CPUs, called Rocket Lake, suggest that they'll remain competitive with AMD for now, but it's unclear if that's enough to win back market share. AMD has traded blows with Intel over the past 3 years, but they haven't outright beaten them in performance metrics for gaming, which is a a massive segment of the market. That's probably going to change in the short term with next-gen Ryzen's launch, but performance clearly isn't the key to winning over customers. AMD's pricing has routinely come in under Intel's by, well, a lot. SEGA's parent company has sold off the majority of its physical entertainment business. While that might sound like bad news, in reality it doesn't directly hurt their gaming interest. Sammy, a massive pachinko company, currently owns SEGA. Selling off this business, which was struggling due to the downturn in physical sales worldwide, will help SEGA avoid making any cuts to existing studios. Indie co-op horror game Phasmophonia is extending its early access phase in response to its blow-up success recently. The game's popularity has far exceeded the developers' expectations, so they'll be devoting more time and resources to the game. The developers of Among Us recently canceled the sequel that was already in development to refocus on the original game following its explosion in popularity. Phasmophonia's extension will affect planned features like a PvP multiplayer mode. NBA 2K21 is getting a massively expanded multiplayer mode called the City on next-gen consoles. It's an evolution of the Neighborhood mode from previous titles and expands on the game's social space to encompass a much wider range of locations and courts. The city will be divided into 4 distinct boroughs, each with their own affiliations. Players can choose which affiliation to join. Affiliations are kind of like the backbone of the game's multiplayer, allowing everyone to compete for top spots in tournaments. The city will also offer various garage courts that players can have 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and horse games at. Gamestop just keeps finding new ways of digging themselves into a deeper hole. To celebrate the upcoming holiday shopping season, they're hosting a TikTok dance competition for employees that includes prizes like working extra hours during the week of Black Friday. According to official release, the winning store will get about 10 additional labor hours to use during Black Friday week. GameStop joins many retail companies that limit how many hours a single employee can work. And while working extra hours during a big sale sounds great on paper, an alternative like paying the winning employees a real bonus or increasing the value of their commission seems a lot better. GameStop recently fought against the lockdown orders in many states by claiming they were an essential business. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what story you thought was the most interesting in the comments down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy today's video. Subscribe if you want to see more news content in the future. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.